welcome back to another Sims 4 building challenge. Today, I'm going to be getting inspired by an item in The Sims, and it's going to flavor how my house is going to look like room by room. I'm going to be doing a house where every room is inspired by a wall decoration. This is honestly a category that I tend to forget about because it's oversaturated with a lot of crap. In this category, you'll find anything between a light switch, toilet paper, Christmas wreath, a spider, or some beautiful art, or some really pretty wall sculpture pieces that I tend to just like forget about. I wish this category was reorganized and had other subcategories, like why does a spider have to sit right next to this beautiful pride piece, you know? I have not searched for this particular challenge. I have not searched if other people have done this, but sometimes if I search this and if I watch someone's video, I don't want to get inspired by their ideas. I don't want my ideas to be influenced by what I've seen in a different video, and sometimes that can be a little bit difficult. I am going to start off. I kind of want to do one for the outside of the house. There are precisely 426 wall decorations that I've got in my game, but let's randomize the first decoration. This is going to be for the outside of the house. So what is it going to be? Drum roll, please. Number 96. Number 96 is a recreation center wall sign. I'm actually gonna cry. This thing is what I gotta get inspired by, and I mean, it's a community lot kind of item. So let's get creative. So I'm thinking, since this is from the Growing Together pack, and rec centers in my head are always kind of like slightly more on the contemporary side, be a nice bit of glass. I'm kind of thinking, let's build maybe like a nice contemporary home. I could be able to create kind of like a family themed home because it's obviously growing together is the theme, but I want there to be like a lot of glass, and maybe I'll also kind of get inspired by the Growing Together pack. I think maybe doing something like this, especially with the new roof from Adventure Awaits that we can actually see underneath of it. I also definitely want to use the glass wall feature. Can I make two of those on top of each other, or is that just, maybe that's a bit too much glass? How about we do something like this, right? So it's got like a little bit of a portion on the side. It's got something going on in the front. It looks a bit weird with that little thing. And then it also has this beautiful like sunroom, which I think could have some interesting qualities. So I reckon I'm gonna do a bit of a layout next. Logically, this to me looks like a really lovely dining room, but that is a bit big. I'm just gonna throw in a dining table in there for the time being. Then I'm thinking, so as this is your front entrance area, I would like there to be a little bit of like a bathroom as you come in. That could be an option, but now that I think about it, maybe that's a bit too big. Maybe I could just make it a little bit skinnier. We would probably need a kitchen close enough to the dining room, but something is possessing me to actually do a sitting room like this, and then this be our kitchen, and this be some sort of like a hallway space. Oh, that could be kind of interesting. And this actually fits into this corner pretty well. It could also give me the possibility of putting in a beautiful little archway here into the dining room. So look, that is actually not the worst layout so far. We could have maybe a door to the bathroom going this way, another archway to the kitchen, so you almost have like a beautiful hallway landing strip to the dining room. So then upstairs we've got a pretty interesting layout going on here for us, so we could achieve quite a few nice rooms here. Something is telling me for this to be the bathroom. We could then have a nice hefty master bedroom kind of like this. Then we could do like a kids room and then an office space. So I've just adjusted the sizing a little bit. What I came up with was this. So this will be the master bedroom. This will be the office space. And then we've got the kids' bedroom and a bathroom here. I will just put in a little desk in here just so that I remember that this is where I wanted my office. And we will do a kids' room today as well. So we will leave that thing right there. I am now going to decorate this. Honestly, it really reminds me of this swatch from Eco Lifestyle. So I wonder, should I use that? What if I actually paint this portion of the house dark? Then if I maybe go into light brown colors in the wooden category, we could then maybe do some sort of like a wooden feature. That could be quite fun because it looks like the wooden part, okay, you can't see with my head, the wooden part is like the backbone of the sign, and it does seem to be quite, oh yeah, see, it's like one panel, so that's why I kind of like this wallpaper because it really is just a panel. This one's kind of fun too, but I feel like that's a little too like makeshift. This could work, like we could potentially add some different textures in here too, but does that look a bit weird? I mean, I also have to add some yellow into this. this. Oh no, that's kind of weird, I think, actually. Wait, now. I think the black is just too stark. But then again, the black is the majority of this sign. What I found to be extremely annoying is when you put those stairs in here, you can see they create a line. Okay, I'm working with something like this at the moment. I didn't really want to add the yellow because as a wallpaper, because I just thought that it was a little too much. I'm really desperately trying to ignore that line there, but there's something telling me to put like one of these there, or honestly one of these, which I know is just like a thing I overuse desperately, but that doesn't really look good. Unless I just create this like as a long piece, like an imaginary piece that like these things don't actually exist, these portions. I'd have to literally just ignore the fact that there's a room there. I'm literally only doing that just to not have this stupid edge. So also, this is my house anyway, but also because I am inspired by this sign and where the pack kind of is from. Like, I mean, Growing Together is a very child-friendly pack. I mean, it has a lot of children gameplay, I guess. And so does the New Adventure Awaits pack. So I'm thinking, why don't we create a nice playground back here? You know, like all of those new features, or else maybe I could just pick a pre-made one. Okay, that is actually kind of huge. So maybe I'll just make one myself. I just want it to be quite small. So maybe let's go for this like light wooden feel. I don't really want like this house chunk. I kind of want it to be just very simple, maybe like this. So imagine we climb up here, then we've got like this little fun thing to play with. Oh, I want to use this object too, actually, in the back. Let me just put that over there. Let's just have, you know, this. Actually, no, let's have this section because it kind of matches the glass. Wow, such modern glass feature on my playground. So fun. Okay, and then do we just want to have like another section and then we just have like a slide? That could probably work. The slide can be yellow. Yes, that's what I'm talking about, guys. Okay, I actually think that this playground is probably enough. I just wanted something small, but at least we've got more yellow and the theme is there, you know. Oh, we can add some like canoes around the place. I don't know. Yeah, yellow canoe over there. That's fun. Okay, guys, so my house kind of looks like this now, which I am really liking the way it's looking. I love the way like this thing is here. The problem I'm having is that my terrain paint keeps disappearing. I don't know what it is. Every time I try to do like some terrain paint, if I press the undo key, it like just gets rid of all my terrain. So it's a bit weird. Like, I don't really care that much. I mean, it is only terrain painting. Okay, guys, so I think I've completed the house now. I wanted this house to feel a little bit like it's more homely, functional, rather than, you know, maybe the back of the house just looks like a regular old new build, which is what a lot of new builds look like that in Ireland. So I've used some of the new kit items in here. So we've decorated quite nicely. We've added some really cute, you can see I've added my lemons, which I've added over there, which I don't know. I think it's quite funny the fact that my lemons are here, but they're yellow. I've added a lot of like children activities, kids items as well to make it feel like we're really like homely here. It's a big family home, and I think it's just because that sign is really giving me like Growing Together home vibe. I've also created this little bin nook, which I think is really fun, and I wish I had a bin nook like that where you can't really see the bins. Hopefully you wouldn't be able to smell them either when you're sitting out here because it's awfully close to the bins. We've got some gardening possibilities and some canoes at the back as well. So I think I'm actually going to start off with the sitting room. So I reckon what we need to do now is generate ourselves a number for the next item from the wall decoration category. So what are we going to do for this sitting room? 261. Oh God. 261 is yet another wall mounted coat rack with shelf. This thing? You want me to decorate my sitting room inspired by this? So do we try and also fit this item in here? I guess we are gonna have to. So looking at the shelf, it's a nice like kind of dark wooden shelf. So I'm thinking, why don't we do some nice dark wooden flooring? And instantly that shelf reminds me of this floor, but the warmth of that color is a bit much. Oh, or this one because of the wide planks. It almost looks like the thickness of this item. Yeah, let's go for this flooring. And we've got like this, I want to say kind of purpley, bluey, and then we've got like green and this dark kind of navy colors, and we've got some other light wood colors, so that's fantastic. I mean, it kind of would be nice if I used some light wood in here also. The walls, because of those like boxes up there, they're like a different kind of like beigey color, so maybe we could use something like that here too. Oh, that's kind of nice, don't you think? And then there's also like a beigey color and a brown t-shirt there, so why don't we do maybe some dark brown but like just a wall color, maybe like this thing. Yeah, that could be interesting. So we could do that there, and then just like a light beigey color here as well, and then we could maybe do some decorations being seeing like kind of vibey colors. So just say for instance, let's get inspired by the rug. I'm gonna select purple, blue and green all together, and let's see if there's any kind of maybe rug that I could find that is embodying all of those colors and textures together, because I'm thinking this is a piece of fabric, so fabric equals rug. Okay, I'm instantly seeing this rug. I've also got these new rugs, so I could like overlay them together and create something that could be also nice. Oh wait, we've got this thing that's kind of fun because it got like that purple vibe to it and some navy and green as well, so that's a good contender. Oh, but this one has also the light wooden chunks in it too. Chunks is not a correct word in here, Sandra, stop saying chunks. But also that object is kind of giving me like old vibes. If I use this rug, I can like overlap these two together, but then that would mean that I really have to pick out another strong purple here. So is there any way I could maybe do like a purple couch? Oh wait, oh well, that's not really the same purple. Honestly, it would have to be like this purple for it to make any sense. Something is telling me that I want to use this couch, and I know it's obviously not the same color as that jumper, but I think I'm going to get loosely inspired by that item. I can't find colors that are that purple. Tough enough to find purple swatches that are nice in this game anyway, so I think this is fun, but I really want also like a fireplace here, so I'm thinking why don't I actually go the other way around? I think this fireplace is kind of fun because it almost gives me like navy vibes, and it's reminding me of that jumper, last like navy jumper. I don't know why I'm getting inspired by the clothing aspects of this, but I think maybe this combination of items is kind of creating like a really homely vibe for me. I feel like the only way to bring like a really strong purple into this would be by using like this painting. That is the closest item that I can kind of picture that would be very similar to that jumper. So maybe we could kind of combine this with maybe like a green, like a very strong abstract green piece, kind of like this thing, but like that is so kind of dated. I'm sorry. Oh, man versus nature. Actually, it's not that bad. It's like the idea of it, I think, is something that's more interesting than the actual piece. Maybe we could also do like a funky enough purpley chair, like a little living chair, you know? So maybe this room is slightly more on the mismatched side, but somehow we will make this work. Remember that this is like a family kind of home. I mean, I did want to suggest that it's a new build, but maybe these people spent all of their money on the actual build of the house, like creating it, building it from the ground up, so that the items that they have are just items that they've had over the years. Maybe this is like their kid's chair. Yeah, maybe their kid likes to sit here with them, because like look, the legs of this chair are literally the color of that jumper, so maybe their kid brought their chair over here and they like to sit here together. Hey guys, so this is what I've done for this room. I know it's a little bit of a crazy wild room and my cushion is just floating around the place, but I liked this room to be quite messy and quite like lived in, and you know, not to say that it's functional, but it looks like the Sims would really enjoy living here, or like if the humans actually lived here, this would be a really nice lived in home. So these objects kind of give me that family sense, that sense of like functionality, and like the colors are quite fun, but it's still a little bit of like an item that has not much aesthetic to it. It just seems like a very basic object. We've got some green and purple touches around the place, and honestly, I really love this space. It feels so lived in and homely. But let's move on. I really want to do the dining room next because this room has so much glass in it that I'm a little bit worried. Let's generate the next wall decoration, which is going to be number 226. That's awfully close to the last one. Oh my god, 226 is this Riders Glen barn quilt. Oh my god, wait, is this a quilt? No, sorry, that's wooden. Wow, panic over. I'm gonna just go for the regular swatch, just the original, the thing that you see in the catalog. Actually, now that I think about it, this table that I put down as a blue swatch, I have to use this. The background is like a pattern. Why don't I try doing patterns? If I go into white and blue textures, I could maybe create something interesting here. Maybe if I try to recreate the pattern that we've got. So we've got like lines. So imagine if I do some lines like this. I mean, wait, now that's not really gonna make sense because the room isn't centered. So maybe I'll try recreate my own kind of pattern. And again, this might look shocking, so I might just quit it any minute, but I'm just gonna try it. I've really been enjoying creating my own patterns these days, so I kind of have a good feeling about this. Well, good feeling. feeling. She says, I don't know, this might be a bad feeling, but what if we pretend that this is like a specific floor design that we've got made in some beautiful woodwork shop? We commissioned an artist to create this for us. Okay, so far I don't hate it. It's a little questionable, but I don't hate it. I think I've done worse things in the past, so I think this might be kind of fun. And it is really reminding me of that wall piece that we've obviously chosen. So that is obviously the main part of this. We got to get inspired. But sometimes, you know, this game reminds me that like there are so many different possibilities. Now that I think about it, maybe I should change the table to more so like a gray table, even though I really did like that table that we just had because it had a lovely wooden grain to it. Something like this actually would work, but would work. Do you see what I did there? But I want it to be longer. And of course, the thing that I'm looking for does not exist, because if it did exist, it would be too easy. Oh, wait, maybe I could use this one because this one kind of has like a fun cloth. And something is also possessing me to do every second chair because we've got some black mane on the horse as well as the legs being two different colors. So if we go for maybe like a dark brown and a black in the chairs, and of course we're looking for wooden, almost like crafty feeling. Actually, these snowy escape chairs are kind of giving me that vibe, but is it enough to be the contender? Oh, that looks so fun. What the heck? Why am I like ecstatic about the idea of this? Oh, or do we do like two big chairs at the top having a little bit of an animal print? I know this is cow print, this is horse, makes no sense, but maybe this whole aesthetic of like the big chair is like, oh, I'm the head of the family, I sit at the top. Why am I obsessed with this whole idea of this floor being this pattern? I mean, there's probably different ways that I could have made this even more interesting, but for today, I'm going to try work with this. I'm also definitely going to do maybe white walls, but for sure wooden. Like maybe this thing, or do I prefer... Actually, no, I don't like this, sorry. Maybe this one actually would be quite interesting. I really don't even want to put like a rug on the ground because I don't want to cover up all of the beautiful work that I've just done on the floor, but I feel like I have to. I had like a blue quilted design for the rug. That would be fun. And I suppose this rug is also from the Horse Ranch pack, which is where this item comes from. Maybe that would make a lot of sense. And honestly, everything else now I'm just gonna add as decorative pieces. So maybe I'll add these curtains like in the corner. They're a big enough item, but we do need that like kind of thickness. I also love how thick they are because the border of this is kind of thick, so maybe that makes sense. Okay, I guess I'm gonna leave this here, but I will put like a small little table underneath, and then we'll just add some decorations. But honestly, the main star of the show is really the flooring. I still might get rid of that rug, to be honest. Okay guys, so this is my room complete. I've just added like a little chair with a little footstool. This lamp just really gives me this kind of vibe for some reason. I know it's not very wooden, but it just gives me the vibe, and I don't know what it is. Just a very simple bookshelf with some plants on it. I feel like this is really more so about showcasing the wooden features of this room. So I think I'm just going to get rid of the rug to show off that wooden floor as a piece of this room, you know? So maybe something like that is kind of fun. And we've got this like light that's slightly blue but rusty. I don't know, guys. There's something very interesting about this room, and I'm like terrified of ruining it, but the floor got me so inspired to potentially do this in the future. So let me know what else I could do with this design. So far, I think we're doing really well, but let's generate the kitchen. 114. Oh my god. Slots a lot file facts. What is this? File your files. It's an ugly swatch. Oh my god. I've just destroyed this whole kitchen. Okay, great. I'm instantly inspired by that like greeny kind of color because I think there is this swatch of this cabinet. It sort of matches, and I think today sort of matches is going to be our best bet here. I think maybe this person is just really into their like cooking, and maybe this is going to be an object that's a part of like fun cooking recipes. I mean, that would be actually kind of like a fun little filing cabinet to have on the wall, and all they do is work. So work is really important. I also don't know how many cabinets to put here because this kitchen is awfully long and there's too many windows. Something is really telling me to do like a table like this because this is like the perfect color as well, and just like really have it taken up by a lot of like maybe paperwork and like random objects that maybe your sim like doesn't really like the look of, but you know, it's just the way it is in the house. We gotta get that work done regardless of what room we're in, you know, like we're cooking, but at the same time we're just like catching up on our work. Maybe we also have like a weird book cabinet here, and you know, we've got like some files are important. You know what they say, the grind never stops. Oh, sorry. Okay, I got very excited. This little thing really reminds reminds me of like a little stool for the kitchen. So maybe I'll actually put that just there in the corner. I've got these stoves because I thought that maybe these actually had, okay, you can't even see this object. Maybe I'll actually put this like over here. So these also had like that yellow kind of vibe, you know, with the gold accent. So maybe that kind of matches a little bit. But yeah, this kitchen is awfully weird. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really the biggest fan of it because this object is just so hard to make this like look good. I'm not really too worried about this room, to be honest with you. I'm just kind of trying to get by with this. Actually, I really like this. This wallpaper is really pretty. Maybe we could also run it on this side, and then the other side can just be, oh, maybe like this color, or is that a bit much? Maybe that's a bit much. Then again, that object is a little much. Maybe we could go for like a warmer floor. Oh, we could even go for like this. Geometric patterns on the ground. Maybe these people just love their geometric floor designs. Clearly, like we've seen in the dining room. I wish these objects, when you place them down, didn't go all rusty, because I would really consider using this, because like the color of this is spot on, but it's just so rusty. Okay guys, so I think I've completed this room. I don't really like it. I mean, I was gonna say I hate it, but hate is a strong word. So this is what we're inspired by, this little this little file thing. And honestly, the colors, I think the colors are there. Not exactly ideal, but the vibe that I'm getting is that this person's really into like maybe reading or writing, or maybe they're a writer and they're just like working on some ideas, and the kitchen is where they get the most inspiration from, because while they cook, they also can like kind of detach. Because sometimes I find myself that like to really concentrate or think about something, I do it while I'm doing an activity such as crafting or something. I can really like connect to my brain. So maybe that's what's happening here. And also I thought it was funny to bring it a little bit of yellow. Maybe they do like recipes with a lot of lemons, because I brought in my lemons and then the chopped lemons, and I think that does look really cute. I think the colors are there, and just think about the storyline. It'll make it easier. Right, next up, I'm going to do the bathroom, and the decorative object for the bathroom is going to be number 66. Oh my god, there's a flag for that flags. No! This is going to inspire my bathroom. How am I going to inspire? Oh my god. Okay, I've messed up. Flags, tapestries, think textures. There's a lot of really funky colors. I mean, okay, I'm gonna try get very creative here. If you think about this with the blue texture on the red and the yellow, I'm thinking about this. Do you see it, or are you not seeing it? Because totally, if you're not seeing it, I'm with you. I can barely see it. Then the orange kind of reminds me of this. And then the green could be a fun little like floor with some triangular shapes. Maybe these people are all into their shapes in this house. This thing, guys, that could be... Sorry, I just realized I could do this. I actually didn't realize. Well, actually, no, it's not that I didn't realize that this was a possibility, but this has never really occurred to me that I can actually create my own patterns. I kind of feel like this is something, I think. Is it? Should it be something? That's another question. Should it just be left alone? This is making me want to do every room is a different quarter tile. You know, my every room is a different tile challenge. Try that, but with quarter tiles. Oh, I can't even make it smaller. Wait a second. Why doesn't this scale? Okay, this object doesn't scale. That is like one of the only objects in The Sims that does not scale. I feel like I'm not going to leave that in the bathroom because there's just like no room. Let's just add some more red and just like some of the regular orange as well. And I think we should just be fine. We could just make this like a really quirky bathroom. I think there's something kind of interesting about the idea of getting inspired by this, because as much as this is giving me absolutely nothing and I just want to throw it out the window, I'm still getting inspired somehow, one way or another. And I think there's just something exciting about challenges like this. Whether this is going to be absolutely correct and everyone's going to love it, or people are going to have different, obviously, takes on what I could have done, I still just get so extremely excited every time I get to do a challenge like this. I don't know what it is. I think sometimes the game forcing you to do something different can just make you so inspired. And I guess that's how I keep my idea of like, how do I not, you know, experience burnout? Because you guys are always so sweet and being like, oh, be careful in case you burn out. And I'm like, I get it. Yeah, I honestly, when you do this like almost every day, that is a question that I should be asking myself. But genuinely, there's just something about this, you know, like doing these random weird challenges that makes me feel every day is kind of different and I'm challenging myself every day. And even though half of the time I still use my favorite curtain and I will do this and that, you know, and use my favorite objects, I think also using my favorite objects keeps this really exciting for me and just keeps it fun. So yeah, I don't know. I just love these challenges and I just think it's so random how I'm telling you this as I'm getting inspired by a trio of flags. Oh, wait, maybe this thing. Yes. Okay. I think that would have a pretty interesting feeling here. I think I'm also gonna go, because you see the way like the little rings they're holding, the flags are gold, but there's also a nice bit of silver. So I'm thinking maybe let's do like a silver mirror, like one of these. Yes. Okay, we've got some silver going on with some gold, even though I don't really like that idea. Maybe I'll actually make this silver as well. Okay guys, so I've completed the downstairs bathroom and now as well, which I think this little little plant also really fits this aesthetic quite nicely. And I've added this little stool because I think that actually stools like that are a really handy thing to have in a bathroom, because every once in a while you just need to sit down. And honestly, sometimes I have showers so hot that I feel kind of faint. So I feel like I would love to have a chair like that, but also maybe for people that have like mobility issues, I think that's a normal thing to have in a bathroom. I feel like I've seen that at my grandmother's house. Then this got me thinking, why don't I do every room as a different chair? Because technically you could kind of fit in a chair into every single room, even a bathroom. So let me know what you think of that idea. But that is our 2 bathrooms now complete. So let's move on and let's do the master bedroom next. This is gonna be a good one. Hey guys, so let's generate what number we're gonna do. 307. Oh bloody heck. Okay, this is 308, which means 307 is the taming of the shoe. The taming of the shoe, I ask. Instantly, if we're thinking of Snowy Escape, one of my favorite packs, by the way, I'm thinking tatami flooring. I mean, the idea of having a bed standing on tatami flooring also feels like it's a wrong thing to do. Is tatami flooring something that can be stood on? Obviously not with shoes, I know that much. But like in The Sims, are objects allowed to just be normally placed on it? So is it just the fact that you can't have shoes on? Because I would love if we had futon beds. And I think I said that in a video recently. We've got the idea of like sleeping bags, but why didn't they give us like actual futons? That in my head suggests that you should not have shoes on, and I went for like this kind of darker color. Sorry, these flags, I'm yeeting them out. I'm sorry, just forget about them. Wait, no, maybe we could put them outside. Okay, I'll put them out here. There we go. Like that looks like I'm about to play some basketball, so maybe I won't do that. Maybe I'll do the red as like an accent piece, but I suppose I am gonna be inspired obviously by the way this looks, but also I'm gonna get inspired by Snowy Escape, I think, a lot. So I'm thinking, oh, I really like this red wall as well. That could be fun. Or else we could go for like quite a dark color. Oh my god, that's beautiful. Maybe like this color could be on this wall because it kind of matches what the windows are doing anyways. But then I'm thinking, right, why don't we add some like red walls as well? Which I know might be a lot, but what if this back wall here is just like a red? Is there anything maybe slightly more darker and more textured? Okay, no, these are not darker, but these are definitely more textured. Maybe it's the texture that I'm after, because then I'm thinking we could pair it with like a really nice wooden and like dark. Oh, the blue actually on this is throwing me off a little bit, but I'm thinking of that type of bed. Oh, sorry, this one. This one is giving me Japanese vibes anyways to begin with. So maybe we could go for this. Okay, I'm very inspired. So as I usually am, but these bedside lockers, they look very basic. They look like just little wooden blocks similar to the sign. It's just a little wooden block with some writing on it. I'm going to add some Snowy Escape kind of beautiful designs. And this also has like sort of Japanese vibes here too. I do believe that that's Mount Fuji in the distance over there. I have no idea. But I think I could make something kind of pretty out of this just with the colors and the vibes. I could even maybe use like this thing here. Maybe I could make it smaller and put it over here. I feel like I really want just black sheer curtains here. And so far, honestly, I really love this room. I think it's really, really pretty. I'm not sure what to put onto this portion, but considering this sign says no shoes, I'm thinking about comfort. I'm thinking about getting cozy. Why don't we put a little couch here? Who's to stop us from putting... one of these here. That's kind of fun. But then again, I think I need something more wooden. Oh, probably this thing actually. This kind of has the right feeling here. And it also has a red swatch. Oh God. Could I make this work? Maybe. Okay guys, I'm obsessed with this room. I really love the way it turned out. And even like with the brown door. I mean, maybe I could have had a little bit more wooden brown, but there are accents of it throughout. But I still feel like that red color is carrying us throughout because this sign with the red symbol is really strongly telling you to take off your shoes. So this is a very strong sign. This bedroom has strong feelings of do not put on your shoes here, take them off. And also this beautiful rug. You do not want to be stepping on that rug with your feet. I mean, sorry, yes with your feet, but no with your shoes. So that makes sense. But I really love this room, guys. What can I say? I just in general love the Snowy Escape Pack, and I think all of the items with it are just magnificent, and I had a lot of fun creating this space. So let's move on and let's do the kids room next. This could be scary, this could be wild, because I still want the kids room to look like a kids room, but there could be some questionable choices in here. So let's generate, what number are we gonna do for the kids room? 23. Why do I get worried when the number is lower? Oh my God, 23 is dense wall ivy. That is cute. If we're gonna have this in a room, we've got to pretend that this is obviously fake. Like, I mean, what the heck? What the heck is going on? Screw this bed anyway. We don't need that. So jungle vibes it is, you know, somebody that's really into their like greenery. They want to be a scout, you know, they are a scout actually, in fact. Maybe they love to just be out in the elements. They love greenery. They love feeling like they're a part of nature. Maybe they one day are going to be like a freelance botanist or whatever that career is. Actually, maybe this bed would even be a lot of fun. I mean, I know there's no single version of this bed, but that doesn't mean the child can't have comfort. But then again, this room then is taken up just purely by greenery and nothing. I mean, this bed, like it just takes up the whole room is what I'm trying to say. So is this maybe a bit much? Does this kid maybe, oh, this is actually a really nice bed. It's kind of like wooden and it has some green. Does this kid just sleep on the floor? Do they embrace natural living? Or can I maybe make some sort of like a funky bed? No, I don't think I can actually. I don't think there's actually any way of creating like this like drooping kind of feeling. Oh wait, we can pretend that this kid loves climbing and stuff. So maybe they have got a bunk bed. The idea of the bunk bed reminds them of like the adventure. The adventure is awaiting is all I'm gonna say. So why don't we actually get some adventure awaits items maybe? Yeah, maybe we just love the idea of camping, and that's something that we really dream of. Like at the moment, we're still a bit too young to go camping by ourselves, but soon enough, our mother said that we'll be able to go on this camping trip that the school has provided us with. So eventually we will be able to do it. For now, all we have to satisfy our camping need is with just like camping essentials at home. I am also maybe going to pretend that this flooring that I'm putting down here is actually a carpet. So I know this isn't carpet and this is most definitely stone, but maybe that is just like a fun little carpet, and we can then maybe combine it with just like this really nice wallpaper. Is there not like a nice green color of this? Oh, wait, there's this one, but does that look a bit weird? Kind of. Something is telling me to put this like camo sheeting down on the ground and actually also use a sleeping bag. I mean, logically that makes no sense that I'm adding a sleeping bag inside a bedroom that has a beautiful, proper, functional bed. Maybe this kid actually genuinely really wants to, you know, be an adventurer in the future. So maybe they've created like their little bedroom as a playground of possibilities and a playground of like really fun activities. You know, maybe they've moved their like wardrobe out into the corner, and instead they decided to bring this little piece from outside in. So like they obviously just like brought some sticks, maybe just like forced these sticks together, maybe like somehow glued them together to create like this little section right here, and maybe that's how they hang their clothes. So this kid is obviously just like really creative, and I think there's something kind of endearing about it. Maybe we could also have like this mirror, because that kind of looks like maybe makeshift as well. Maybe their parent is also quite supportive of this, so they want their kid to have like a really fun experience, really diving into that whole idea. Maybe they're also kind of learning about growing some plants and things, so they're going to be an adventurous sim for sure. But I think there's something kind of cute about the idea of like the sim sleeping on the floor, because when I was a kid I used to pretend a lot. Like playing pretend was like a very exciting thing for me, so maybe that's what we've got here. But then also like I will just throw in like a little desk underneath, because they obviously still have to do like their homework and go to school. But then at Nighttime sometimes they sleep on the ground and play pretend, and they love gardening. I have no idea. Okay guys, so I think I've completed this room. I am going to just change the light. I've also found these decals. So I kind of thought that maybe that was like a really fun window sticker, because I mean like stickers come off of windows easier than they come off of walls. So I like the idea of this room being quite dark. So I don't want to add too much lights. But then again, like this kid still has to just say like do their homework and things. And you know, as much as they've really redesigned their space, I still want this to feel like a little bit of a normal room. So maybe I'll go for this light right here. I think that has kind of like a funky vibe. So we've got like some toys over here, maybe some like manga, some toys, and then their little journal, you know, maybe they like to read as well. So this kid is super creative, but they are preparing. Eventually they will go out there and they will be an adventurer, and they love their little plants. They still have got like a bunch of toys around, and I've also added like the craft station so they can also create some crafts, because I feel like this is just like a very creative kid. So I really love the way this turned out, and I hope you guys love this room too. Okay, I'm gonna do the office next, and then we'll just do the hallway last. Right, so let's generate for the office space. 344. Okay, that's like the total opposite, I feel, on the category spectrum. So 344 is, you've got to be joking me, questionable air duct. No. Oh my god. Damn it. It's like there are so many beautiful pieces here. Like, look at this. Look how lovely that thing is. Or even these beautiful leaves. Damn it. I'll take spider at this point. Questionable duct is what you're giving me. Okay. Scratch my idea of a wooden table. This is going to be an industrial room, okay? And look, every once in a while, I love a good industrial room. But if this game wants me to be industrial, I can do a good industrial room. I guess it makes sense, actually, that it's like here on this wall somewhere, because there are no windows, so maybe inside the walls there's some sort of vents happening. God really knows what the heck is going on, because this is a very questionable vent. Like, why is it coming out from this side but then also coming into this side? I don't know, it's questionable, but don't question it. So we're gonna go for a lot of like metal-y kind of vibe textures. This is actually kind of interesting. Or else we could just go for maybe something like this, but we could pair it with some rust. My god, that is a lot. But then again, when else am I supposed to use these textures if not in a room inspired by a questionable rusty duct? I also feel like maybe using a little bit of this, because it's slightly questionable. It's like, why is there, you know, a warning label on this wall? I don't know. Don't question it. It's questionable stuff, you know? So maybe in this room, what will we do in this room? Like, do we just have a desk? Do we maybe actually dive into that whole idea of metal? And do we do maybe like some woodworking? Okay, that metal and woodworking have not much together in common, but maybe actually a robotic station, which I never really do robotic stations in my home. So maybe today is the day. I feel like that vent now doesn't make sense here. I kind of like the way this little section right here has like a little nook for a door. I wonder, could we somehow create like a curtain or like an extra security pass section? I could even get like a fence and like fence this area off to say that like this is really off limits for everybody, you know, like to actually come in here, you've got to have permission, which I feel like these people don't have permission. Or else maybe even something like this. Maybe it's just like a security fence for the kids, like just in case the kid tries to come in and you're like, oh god, we're about to launch the robot. So maybe somehow we could create like a little safety barrier. So I've created like this little thing here. So it's just like a security measure, because we do have kids in the house. We want to make sure that they're okay. So I think I'm also going to add more pipes. I mean, at this point, who's gonna stop me? I mean, we've got a tent. I keep saying that. But maybe now we just add a little bit more. Do we put this little dude in there just for like a bit of funsies? You know, haha, the kids pranked us. Funny. We've got some enforcements apparently by the window, which is great. I still feel like maybe putting in a small little desk, because at the end of the day, like we still have to research certain concepts. And I actually just do like a really small desk, almost like in the middle of the room, so that we can kind of like sit here and like watch our progress. We'll have like a really, well, not really fancy, but like a fancy enough chair, maybe like this. And we just sit here by our vent and we just like contemplate, you know, what's our next move? How do we make this skeleton turn into a robot? You know, like what are we thinking? We have no idea. But maybe I'll also put this like little like rug here, because this looks like a little drainage hole. So maybe the underneath of this floor is actually enforced with like a tray to hold all of the robot juices and liquids, of course, the the excess juice that comes out of a robot. Oil, guys. Sandra, damn it, oil. That's what I need to say. Because the person obviously in the kitchen is like super into their work. So it just makes sense. They work in the kitchen, then they come up into this room apparently, and they really just work hard. Apparently, I have no idea what the heck I'm saying. But I kind of like this concept. Sometimes things just fall into place, and maybe this is the day. Today is the day. This room actually makes a little bit of sense. Oh, that's actually kind of funky. Oh, this light always reminds me of like this like glowing red if there's an emergency. So one day if the actual experiment does good and we get a robot, the thing turns red and it's like, get the family out, evacuate, a robot's alive, you know, like that kind of way. Maybe we could also put this really cool fan here. I'm going to scale it down a small bit because like I want to put as many like kind of metal objects. I'm using a lot of get to work, which is fantastic. Good for get to work for actually being used. But I think this is actually a really interesting little space. And every once in a while, it's nice to just create something random and weird. You know, it doesn't have to be always perfect and realistic and ideal. One of you guys once commented on my video and it was like, don't always worry about realism because this is simlism or something like that. It was like, worry less about this being realistic because at the end of the day, this is the Sims nation, you know. I don't remember what the quote was. It was a lot better than what I just said anyways. Okay guys, I really like this room. I even like this little UFO looking light that I've installed here. I think that's really cool. And we also have got this spotlight on our case files because we're also working on some case files. I have no idea. The one last room of the house I'm going to do is just a very quick hallway, but the hallway could make it or break it. So let's figure out what item we're going to get inspired for the hallway. So one last random number I'm going to be generating today, and it's going to be 147. Wait a second. 144, 45, 46, 47. That is very random, and that is what we're going to be inspired by, which is from the Salvador Rada pack. So do I just go all out and like all crazy, or do I kind of get inspired to fit the storyline? Because honestly, these people are obviously kind of rich, I want to say, because they're into robotics, but they also really love their kid. Like they let their kid be who they want to be, even though robotics is obviously the parents' dream. They really work a lot, you know, they work in the kitchen, but they've obviously traveled the world with their really expensive holidays that they can afford. They also maybe got inspired by like a place that they visited, so the bathroom kind of makes sense. I don't know where the dining room comes into all of this, but maybe they're just expensive. Like the floor installation was expensive and they're really rich. So maybe instead of actually making this look like a rundown cave, which also would be kind of fun, but I actually have a different idea for a video where every room is a different building. So aka the bathroom being a castle bathroom, the kitchen being like a dungeon bathroom, you know. So let me know what you think of that idea. But I think for this, I will kind of create this more as a space that is designed to look like this area of the world that they visited and were extremely inspired by. So it's going to be a little bit more elevated as a space. It's not just going to be an excavator area. It's going to be like a fancy... Okay, how do I make this fancy? A fancy, lovely, fancy room. Okay, I know I just said I want this to be kind of normal, but I'm just for some reason really inspired by this lovely blue flooring. This floor just reminds me of like a lovely galaxy or something. I don't know, so maybe that's kind of fun. Or maybe I should add a little bit of like wooden patterns. I could add some like dark wood just like around the place to tone it down a small bit, or is that a bit weird? Like just some wooden paneling. Maybe actually that chunk back there is also a wooden panel. It's more so stone that I guess we should be using to really get inspired by this, but I guess this is still like a front entranceway of a really cozy family home. So we want to make sure that this does feel a little bit more family friendly, because at the moment it feels really not that. Oh, I really love this rug. I think this rug is really pretty. And maybe I'm inspired by like those textures and that pattern. That looks like an eye actually. That looks really cool. Something along those lines. If there's like a lighter wood, yeah, maybe something like this is kind of interesting. And we would put a really pretty fancy mirror up above this too. I want like, yeah, maybe a mirror like this, or even actually this mirror, maybe in like this kind of stone silvery kind of color. It's getting there. Something is there. Something at the same time is really not there. I'm also going to put this coat rack here, I guess. Or maybe the coat rack should be like over by the window here. Yeah, that probably makes more sense. Yeah, I don't really know what else to put into this room. So I guess I'm just going to add some decorations. And upstairs again, I might do like a small little seating area. But maybe actually upstairs, I would do a little bit of wood. Haha, wood. Maybe we could do just like this regular, like dark wood in this Selva Doradin kind of Dedean color. Excuse me, I cannot speak. And is there a matching wall for what I've done downstairs? Oh, there should be, surely. Yes. Okay. And then I could also bring this like wooden tiling up the stairs quite a bit. Yeah, I think upstairs could be like a little bit more neutral. And maybe actually, since we've got this one downstairs, maybe we're really rich and we bought a couple of these. So I'd like to think that maybe we could have, oh, they don't scale really nicely. That's a bit annoying. But maybe I guess we could have at least one more. I don't know which one. Maybe this one with the leaves, because their kid is really into leaves. But their kid is into leaves. Outdoors, so they bought the leaf one because they were like, fine, let's spoil the child with this really expensive relic. And then next to it, we could have like a fun little map to suggest, oh, that's where we bought it. It's from over there. That's where we found it. And actually, like this chair kind of reminds me the most of this. It really suits this space quite nicely, like the blue with the wall and then also like that gray wood. I think it has a pretty interesting feeling here. We could even then use this little block and pretend that this is concrete. Or do we not have a concrete block? I guess we have this one, but this one's quite massive actually. This one's huge. Maybe we could just have this thing here, like, and we can pretend that we kind of sit on it, even though we obviously don't. But you know the way there's these like poofs that you can get that also have like storage in them? I have a couple of those at home, and maybe I could also put like this little wooden stool next to this. It kind of just has like that adventure kind of vibe. And again, it kind of makes sense because the kid is all into adventure. Excuse me, what am I saying? The kid is all into adventures. So maybe like the parents are just extremely supportive. And they went on a lot of like really cool holidays where, you know, they obviously excavated some fun artifacts. Every time I do this little plant trio, like, I mean, I love the way this looks. I think it has like a really fun feeling. I always think about the fact that these people obviously have no pets, because if you have a pet, that trio will not last there very long, will it? My cat would just pee in there. You would think it's a little litter box. Okay, guys, so I think this is all I'm going to do in this space. I've added some like this, well, this plant there, and then I've added some cute decorations here in like slightly more of a blue tone. I don't know where the blue came out of. I just kind of had this sense. I mean, there's probably different, oh my god, there's beautiful swatches of this actually, but I am going to go for this kind of stone texture. And I've also put this picture perfect art lighting up on top of it, because it just makes it look like, obviously this is more so like an artifact, and it's less just like a piece of stone on your wall, and it's more so like an actual piece of art that I think just looks pretty interesting, and it adds a little bit of a story to this space. I've added some lights here as well. I think the blue against like that wooden wall is also really pretty. Maybe I'll just add like a little poof in the corner, or maybe another one of those wooden stools, because I just love to have places to sit. I've recently got a chair actually. I feel like I should have mentioned this at the start of the video, but I'm changing the way I'm doing my background. So my background will be changing slightly bit by bit. Well, not that much. I mean, like, I'm kind of almost done, but there's just like a couple of things that I wanted to add to my background. And also I thought to myself, since I always do sitting areas in The Sims, I need more sitting areas in my own life. So I bought myself a chair and now I can sit in it, which is just great. So that is the inspiration. Okay, guys, well, I think now I'm complete. I've completed everything. And honestly, from the outside of the house, do you remember where we started? We started with this little thing, and then we went in and just created a very, very interesting space out of all of these different wall decorations, which honestly, I really want to try this again, but maybe I'm going to try it in a way that I've done my painting challenge in the past, where I actually pick out some of my favorite items, and then maybe we could like randomize the swatch of them, because I really wanted to use like this tapestry or like even this random thing. I'd love to get inspired by that. This thing is pretty. Oh, this wheel has really beautiful swatches too. Or that item. I mean, there is a lot of definitely very interesting pieces here. Like, this could have inspired my whole house. Like, look at all of these swatches. So maybe in a future video, I will try this wall category again, because this wall category is full of so many beautiful pieces that I want to bring a little bit more light to some of these. Like, look at the swatches on this. Let me know what you think of that idea if I just throw a couple of these on a spin the wheel. But nevertheless, I think I got very creative today. Like, look at this flooring. I have to try this flooring again. But anyways, the one last thing I'm gonna do is do a quick little tour. Well, guys, welcome on into my every room is a different wall decoration challenge, and we have started off with this wall recreation centerpiece, which has inspired a lot of black, yellow, light woods, and it really created a very interesting new kind of feeling build. As we enter, we are inspired by that stone piece, which again is really giving me very interesting vibes. These people obviously traveled. They love their like funky aesthetics when it comes to their interiors, so we definitely have got some adventure kind of vibes. The sitting room is all over the place. This is kind of where we started off with, so I feel like the sitting room is also a place maybe that the parents don't spend a lot of time in here because the parents are so much into their work. You know, maybe the mom is upstairs working on the robotics, the dad is in the kitchen, like just like kind of half cooking, half doing some robotic stuff. So maybe the kid actually takes over the sitting room, and the kid brought down their own little chair, and it's got like some board games, and you know, maybe the child is more so into like creative kind of things rather than being more like logical robotics, you know, that kind of way. So I like that kind of aesthetic here. Then, as I said, the kitchen is kind of messy. It's kind of got a lot of like, you know, just grab a bowl of cereal and this is your breakfast, you know, that kind of way. Like we're really into like books, knowledge, reading, but also lemon making. Apparently, I have no idea where that's going. Then we've also got some crafts because maybe the kid also likes to spend some time with the dad inside the kitchen because the dad likes to make this his workspace. So the kid likes to come over here as well and hang out with the dad. I have no idea. Anyways, this is the downstairs bathroom, which is just a really pretty, like a lot of happy colors together. A little bit intense. I also had to scale this little toilet brush cleaner down a little bit because it was almost the size of the toilet. So that was a little bit weird. But anyways, then we've got this room, which honestly probably is my favorite room of the house purely because of that floor. I think there's something so interesting about the fact that I got inspired by this pattern for my floor. I don't think I've ever done that in The Sims, so I'm really interested to do that again. But also just the colors, like the mismatched chairs, of course, but that blue is such a beautiful blue. Blue is my favorite color, so I'm a little bit biased. So maybe I do love this room because of that. Anyways, as we come up the stairs, we've got this other little seating area, which kind of has like jungle vibes a little bit with this little trio of plants. So let's maybe head into the kids' room first because the kid really, oh my god, the kid really took over those jungle vibes. We've got some beautiful, fun jungle themes going on here. The kid is really adventurous. They really love to maybe sleep outside. I don't know. That's why there is a lot of like funky toys outside as well, because the kid does spend a lot of time there. But you know, sleeping is like the last thing this kid does here. Well, unless it's sleeping on the ground. But anyways, then we've got another idea of, well, another bathroom upstairs. So this is like the major kind of bathroom. Main bathroom is what I'm trying to say. And it's a little bit cluttered. It's got like some stuff on the ground because I just felt like those flags were just a little bit all over the place. Anyways, I'm going to leave my favorite room to last. So let's head on over to the office. Make sure you sanitize your hands because the robots are germaphobes. As you come through here, you've got, you know, a little bit of like a contemporary vibe. Things are still expensive, but it's really more so about the practicality of this room. We love robotics, and that's all really I'm about to say to you guys. I'm inspired by that rusty vent in the corner, and I don't know, there's just something so good about the idea of robotics and doing industrial spaces in The Sims. Back when I did my every cult challenge, I enjoyed the robotic side of things, so maybe I'd have to do that challenge again in the future. But The Sims do this aesthetic really well, and I think it's just something so funny and so like weird. So I really love this room. And then the one last room of the house, which now really with the storyline makes me think that maybe these people also just traveled all across the world and they really got inspired by Japan for their bedroom. So I am obsessed with this room. If I tell you, okay, if this was maybe blue, if I could change all the swatches to like a light blue, maybe the blue that's outside in the hallway instead of the red, I would be all over this room. Obviously the red works with the aesthetic, and obviously we're inspired by the no shoe sign. I should have put some shoes outside the door. That actually would have been really funny. But if I could have this in like a bit of like a blue color, although the red is really pretty too, I could actually cry in this bedroom. It's so pretty, and I really hope you guys love it as much as I do. But yeah, guys, I mean, once again, we've created a very interesting space with some really interesting rooms that tell a storyline that would be amazing to create some Sims. I mean, I don't do cast very often, but I'd love to make the family that lives in this house. And my other idea was to also create a family first with some random traits and then build for them. So let me know what you think of that idea too. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna leave you right here with my every room is a different wall decoration challenge. Let me know if this is something you'd like to see me do again, or if there's any other things I should be inspired by. I think there's like Sarah Kendall did a lamp one, I think. Also, I'm thinking of chair because there is one way or another I'll be able to put a chair into the bathroom. Anyways, guys, if you have enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe. Let me know your feedback down in the comments. And as per usual, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye!